Alright guys, so in today's video, I'm going to talk about my first and only experience in court. And believe you me, it was one of the most stressful times in my life. So, with that being said, find yourself a chair, take a seat, and let's talk. Yo, what is going on everybody? My name is Ed Carter and welcome back to another video. Now, if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you for joining me yet again for another video. I really do appreciate your guys' support. However, if you aren't a subscriber to the channel, but you're looking for content surrounding God and Christianity, self-improvement, and ethics, then do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, become a part of the community, and also hit the little notification bell so that way you guys are notified every time I go to upload a video. Alright, so with all that being said, let's jump in. So, my first and only experience in court. Yes, y'all heard that right. But before we get too deep into that particular part, let me share with you guys exactly how this entire thing transpired. So, going back to 2014, I was actually living with two very good friends of mine, Ryan and Kevin. Now, I was the only one out of the three of us without a vehicle, so I knew that at some point, I needed to get a vehicle. Now, at the time, I wasn't making a lot at all. Like, I wasn't making a lot at all, y'all. But every time I got paid, I set aside about $200 and I was going for a vehicle. Now, obviously I wasn't making enough to where I could pay hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for a car note. I needed something I could buy outright. So even if it was from a private owner, I'm like, God, I need something. I need you to open up a door. I need you to make a way. I need something to happen because I can't keep walking an hour and a half to and from work all the time, you know? So, and something popped up. It was somebody that I used to work with that we developed a good friendship, a good relationship and whatnot. So he actually had a 1998 Honda Passport. So long story short, he found out that I needed a vehicle and he had this 98 Honda Passport. He was willing to sell it for $800. I had $1,000 and I was like, you know what? This is an individual I definitely trusted and, you know, I didn't think anything was going to go wrong. So he came up to where I was living at the time and, you know, let me test drive it and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and get it. So I went ahead and got it, $800, gave it to him. He gave me the title, signed off on it, did everything I needed to do with DMV. And pretty much that was it. And, you know, vehicle was bought. I purchased my very first vehicle on my own and everything was good. Or so I thought. So fast forward a year later, I'm living back at my mom's house. I got another job and it was time for me to get the vehicle inspected. So I get it inspected, it failed, and you can only drive but so many days with the rejection sticker. So one day I'm driving from work and I go past that, you know, I go past the allotted days. So I'm driving from work to the auto parts store to get what I need to get, and I get pulled over by a state trooper. I'm like, man, this sucks, you know, this is great. So I get pulled over, he says license and registration. I'm like, okay, here you go. So he goes back to his cop car, he stays there for a while, and then he comes back. And then he says, do you know that the tags that you have on this vehicle aren't for this vehicle? And I said, no, what are you talking about? He said, well, you know, this is a 98 Passport, but the tags you have on this passport are for a Ford. And I said, I had absolutely no clue. I really had absolutely no idea. So he wrote me a ticket, of course, for the rejection sticker, and it was for something else. So I did my research, and it turns out that it was pretty much for tampered with or altered decal or tags, and that could have resulted in a $2,500 fine. That could have resulted in a 90-day suspension of my driver's license, and that could have resulted in me possibly facing a year in jail. So when I say your boy was stressing, your boy was stressing. So the days leading up to the court date, your boy was stressing and stressing bad. I'm sitting here trying to get every single piece of documentation to legitimize my story. I'm sitting here trying to figure out, okay, who did this guy get the car from? If he still had their contact information, of course he didn't. So I'm just sitting here just trying to put together my story, trying to just make it seem like I was as innocent as possible because I was. I had absolutely zero idea. So the actual court date comes, right? So I'm sitting in the court. When I say I was stressed, feeling like I'm going to pass out, puke, die. Like I had all the emotions running through my head. Like, what if I do get charged with this? My job record is shot. It's absolutely done. I could possibly go to jail. I could possibly have this fine that I can't afford. I could possibly lose my, like, this is worst possible case scenario. It's just flying all throughout my head. So the judge says, Mr. Carter, come up to the stand. So it's me, officer to my left. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. I said, I do. And then he just looks, he's looking, he's going, he's explaining, okay, so this is that, and the fourth. So Mr. Carter, why were you driving on a rejection sticker, expired rejection sticker? And I said, well, pretty much, officer. So pretty much I was driving from work, and I knew of course the sticker was rejected, but I was driving to get the part necessary so I can get it fixed so it can pass inspection. But as far as the tags, I had absolutely no idea. I had absolutely no idea. I had zero clue. But I'm telling you, I really didn't know. I didn't know. I was going to get the parts to get the car fixed, but I had no idea about the tags. So he said, okay. All right. So Mr. Carter, here's what I'll do. I'm just going to charge you with the rejection stickers and just leave the other thing out. But just don't let me see you in here again, okay? And I said, yes, sir. Thank you. And then he called up the next people for the next case or whatever. When I say a 2-ton weight was lifted off my shoulders and off my chest, a 2-ton weight was lifted off my shoulders and off my chest. Everything that I thought could go wrong didn't. Everything worked out. Oh my gosh, it was great. Just finally being out of that courtroom and just knowing that nothing is going to happen. All I got to do is just pay this ticket. In comparison to what I could have been faced with, paying this one teeny tiny ticket, I did, and that was that. So that's the whole story. But before I finish off the video, I'm going to share with you guys 3 things that I learned about God within that entire ordeal. So the very first thing that I learned about God is this: God remains faithful. 2 Timothy 2:13 says, for when we are faithless, he remains faithful. He cannot deny himself. And I've seen the faithfulness of God come through in a mighty way at that time. There have been plenty of other times where I've definitely needed to see his faithfulness, and he showed it. But this is one of the times that I really needed to see it, because up until that point, I was only 3 years into my Christian walk. So just seeing God come through at such a huge level in my mind at the time, it just showed me that, God, you are trustworthy, you are faithful. And even when things don't seem like they're going to work out, they ultimately do. And God, just wanted to encourage y'all. God is faithful no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're enduring. Just have that faith, have that hope, have that trust in God, and he will see you through. So the second thing I learned about God is this: he will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5 says, he will never leave you nor forsake you. So he won't leave you. If God in any way, shape, or form seems distant, it's not because he moved, it's because we moved. Because see, we tend to get in this mindset that we're self-reliant, self-sufficient, all these different things, and have no need for God. But at the end of the day, God is the one that we truly need. But he's always within earshot. He's always near. And we have to believe in that. We have to have that confidence in him that he's never going to leave us. And even though it was hard to believe that, I had that faith and I trusted that, God, I know you're there. I know you're hearing me. And I know that this is ultimately going to work out. I don't know how, because it doesn't seem like it's going to, because it seems like everything is stacked against me and stacked up in a way that it's going to fall on me. But God, he never left. He was still hearing me, even if it didn't seem like it. So I learned, that's the second thing that I learned, that God is good and he is always there, no matter what season of life you may be going through, or no matter what situation you may be enduring. And the third and final thing that I learned about God is this: he says that all things work together for good to those that love him. Well, technically Paul said it, but you get what I'm saying. So pretty much, had I not gone through that, I wouldn't have been as reliant on God as I was. And in that reliance on God and the fact that he showed himself faithful, that increased my faith in God. James chapter 1, verse 2 talks about how we can take joy in various trials because the testing of our faith produces patience, not just endurance, but our faith in God. You know what I mean? So even though the situation seemed bleak and it seemed like everything could have gone wrong, God ultimately says that all things will work together. He's talking about the good times and the bad times. He's talking about the good situations and the bad situations, the good days and the bad days. Everything will ultimately work together for our good. And at the end of the day, he's going to get glory. Now, even through this whole thing, I was still, God, thank you for this. Thank you for allowing me to get through. Even though I had no clue if it was going to go through the way I would want it to or not, he was still there and he still allowed the situation to work out to my good. So God, he is faithful. He is just. He'll never leave you. And when he says all things work together for good, literally all things will ultimately work together for good. And like I said, that was an incredibly tense, stressful situation. But God carried me throughout the entire thing. And I give him praise and thanks for that. All right, guys, that's it for another video. Thank you for joining me yet again. And I really do hope that this video encourages you guys and shows you guys that even in the worst of circumstances, God is ultimately faithful. And also, let me know down in the comments below of any similar situations. It doesn't have to necessarily be court, but any situation where you felt as though that there was no way that it was going to work out for you, but at the end of the day, it did work out for you. Yeah, let me know down in the comments and let me see how God has moved in your guys' life and in those situations as well. And also, be sure to join me again next week at the same time as I break down the heresy known as the prosperity gospel. And also, be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel if you've yet to do so that way you guys can get more content such as this and just to be a part of the Let's Talk community. Otherwise, guys, that's it. Until next week, y'all have a good day. God bless. Much love. Take care.